Welcome to episode 2 of Books and Boas with Anne Panning. So today I want to start with a confession. I've written almost nothing this week since I did my last episode. Just things were busy. I just didn't, and that's okay. Sometimes we just don't get to what we want to do. However, I came across a quote from Joan Didion, one of my favorite memoirists, and she said this in her book on keeping notebooks, which I'm going to talk about. We are all well advised to keep on nodding terms with the people we used to be, whether we find them attractive company or not. So, she basically said, so that's why it's important to keep notebooks. So quickly, I want to tell you what I was up to this past week. I was organizing every one of my diaries and journals in chronological order and dating them. So I have about 70. And this is one of the first ones. And I was just going to read a tiny bit from this. I was like 11 or 12. I was 12. I used to write little bits and then I would give a letter grade to the day. Today we got our pictures taken at school. I think my hair looked kind of drippy, but what the heck. We also got report cards today. I got all 90s except for an 88. All the teachers said at parent conferences that I like to talk, but I could do better. C-. And this is just a little cute free notebook I got. And then just a quick sampling of, this is what they used to look like. This was a little plaid, you had to have a lock on it. And this was when they started to become really fancy and it was like furry leopard. And then right up until, this is the current one I'm using. And for some reason I'm like a teenager again. I put stickers all over everything. So there's that. So they have changed all over the years, but I do have all 70 in chronological order. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that, why it's important. So one of the things I think is interesting is how we all tell stories about our past. Some of it is inherited memories, some of it is actual, and some of it is our own fuzzy remembering. So I realized something when I was looking through all this stuff. I told everybody I always got A's, I was really quiet and shy, and I was an excellent student, always got A's, okay? So then I found these report cards, this is how they used to look, handwritten. And I look, and in second grade, I got 2 B's in reading and spelling. And then in 4th grade, I got a B- in arithmetic and a C in health science and an incomplete in reading, to my horror, because I was always reading. So it made me think, isn't it funny how we go along with this notion of how we think our past was? And if you keep telling yourself stories enough and tell other people these stories, it starts to become your truth. You're not trying to lie. It just starts to become your truth. So I'm really glad I have all these notebooks and I'm going to be working on them, looking at chunks of them. But I also realized when you look at all the stuff from your past, and I want to show this. I don't know if any of you do things like this anymore. It's a scrapbook. And, it's all mealy newspaper articles and stuff. But I wanted to show you the material culture kind of stuff. So this is like the gum wrappers, all the stuff of a date, of a life, of a high school girl, cheerleading tryouts. And I'm really glad I have that because I can actually get hands-on what my life used to look like and feel like and smell like and taste like. Another thing I found was an assignment from home ec class, and I guess we had to do like a little life story about us. And this is called Starring Me, and it's dorky, it's super dorky. We had to describe our family, and I want to just read a couple things from this. This is about my father. We had to write about each parent. Lowell William Arthur Panning. And I wrote this. My father is a man of considerable fascination. He works as a manager at a grocery store and seems to enjoy his job. My dad is usually always in a good mood and seems to be very busy. He's a colorful person with many sides to his personality. I love him very much, And I'm very proud of him. Now, this is where it gets complicated because I suppose, it depends on your audience. I was trying to whitewash things a little bit for class, right? But the fact was, I was 15 and my dad was drinking heavily and we were on welfare and we got free lunch tickets and he and my mom were fighting all the time. My dad had a hard time keeping a job. So when I say he was always happy and enjoyed his job, he hated working. If he could get away with it, he never would. So I guess what I'm saying is what a public rendering of my father at age 15 I had then. And then now, as I find myself decades later writing a memoir having to do with him and me and our relationship, which is really complicated, how does that stack up? How do I experience that now, what I wrote then versus now? And of course it's different, obviously, but I do want to use these pieces of my past in the memoir to kind of provide some balance, to what was then and what was now. I was talking to an ex-student about a memoir he's working on, and I said the thing we all need to do in a memoir is don't just tell what happened, then. You have to compare it to the now of your life to get that kind of juxtaposition and understanding. So the other thing I just want to leave you with is what if you could tell something to your past selves? What would you say? Would you give yourself advice? Would you do you have a favorite person you used to be? Did you like 10-year-old you better than 25-year-old you, etc.? So you might consider writing a letter or an advice column or something to that younger self. So I'll leave you with that. Until next time, here's to Books and Boas.